So where the last video ended, I was trying to figure out where on the relation y was equal to -1. And that's just going to amount to taking -1, putting it in place of this y, putting it in place of this y, figuring out what the value of x is. So I'm going to have x squared plus -1 cubed minus 3 times -1 equals 4. And I want to try to solve this equation for x. So -1 cubed is going to be -1, -3 times -1 is plus 3. So I'd have x squared minus 1 plus 3 equals 4. If I combine those like terms, I'm looking at a plus 2. So I have x squared plus 2 equals 4. Subtract 2 from each side, you're looking at x squared equals 2. Square root of each side leaves you with the square root of 2. But again, you don't know if x is negative or positive on this line, so you've got to consider the possibility that it's both on your result line. So x could be equal to the square root of 2, or x could be equal to the negative square root of 2. So this ensured that the derivative was undefined. The denominator of the derivative was 0. These are the values of x on the curve where y would be equal to -1. So in the end, we have 4 places where we have vertical tangents. The 2 we listed in the last video, and then the 2 that we just found here, -1 square root of 2 and -1 negative square root of 2. So on the graph of this relation, we should have 4 vertical tangents at these 4 locations, and we should have 1 horizontal tangent, at this location. What I did was I went online and I found a website that would graph an implicitly defined relation, and so I graphed this on their site, and it allowed me to print out this graph. If you look at this graph, it seems like we'd have a vertical tangent right here, right? Vertical tangent there. Seems like we'd have another vertical tangent right here. Seems like we'd have another one right here. And one more right here. Actually, I think I was off a little bit on this one. Let me kind of sneak down a little bit with where I drew that. And if you look at these 4 ordered pairs that I just tried to plot up against this curve, and you can probably visually determine that the slope of the tangent line at any of these 4 points would be undefined, it would be a vertical line, they're going to correspond to the values that we found. 1 square root of 6, so 1 square root of 6 would be right here, and then 1 negative square root of 6 would be over here. -1 square root of 2 would be right here. -1 negative square root of 2 would be right there. So we do have 4 vertical tangents, and then we have this 1 horizontal tangent right up here where we'd have a horizontal tangent line, and then that's going to be the point that we found on the front of this page, 0, 2.196, right, just above 2. So hopefully this helps you kind of visualize some of the horizontal vertical tangent stuff. Remember, there are 2 things you need to show. Just showing that the derivative is 0, or just showing that the derivative is undefined at a given x or y value is not enough. You're also going to have to figure out what the corresponding point on the relation is.